When you're dealing with the multiplication of bigger numbers and you don't have a calculator to hand, you might need to use a written method. I'm going to show you two written methods of multiplication where the working is set out in boxes. The first one is called table multiplication. Not the most efficient method, but one that should be fairly easy to follow. And the second one is grid multiplication. So, table multiplication. Let's say that you want to work out 62 times 43. Start by drawing a 2 by 2 table like this. Put one of the numbers along the top, say the 62. So I put 60 here and 2 here. The 43 goes down the left side, 40 and 3. Now I'm going to multiply all the bits together. First the 60 times the 40. Now when multiplying numbers like these with zeros at the end, I suggest that you just ignore the zeros for now and work out 6 times 4. That's 24. And there were two zeros that I ignored, so just put them back in. That's 2400 or 2400. Next, 2 times 40 gives 80. 60 times 3 gives 180. And finally 2 times 3 gives 6. Now it's a matter of adding these four numbers together. Here they are in a column, and they add to 2666. Here's another example, 51 times 36. I put the 50 here and the 1 here, and the 30 and the 6 here. First, 50 times 30. Well, 5 3s are 15, and then add on the two zeros, that's 1500. 1 times 30 gives 30, 50 times 6 gives 300, and finally 1 times 6 is 6. Now I add these four numbers together, and they come to 1836. Let me use a three-digit number this time, say 214 times 32. Because of the three digits, I'll need a larger table with 3 columns. Put the parts of the 214 along the top, and the 30 and the 2 down the side. And now I fill the cells. 200 times 30. Well, 3 2s are 6. And then add the 3 zeros, 6000. 10 times 30 is 300. 4 times 30, 120. 200 times 2 is 400. 10 times 2 is 20. And finally, 4 times 2 is 8. And adding these 6 numbers together gives 6848. So that's table multiplication. Now I'll move on to grid multiplication, a less well-known method, but once you've mastered it, probably easier to use. I'll start with 56 times 36. As before, I draw a 2 by 2 table. The 56 goes along the top, not 50 this time, but just 5. The 36 goes down the side, but on the right rather than the left, and again I write 3, not 30. Next, I draw 3 diagonals. They go from corner to corner, running from top right to bottom left and cutting each square in half, and I'll extend the lines below the bottom of the table. Now I'm ready to multiply the bits. First, 5 times 3 is 15. The 1 goes here and the 5 here. Next, 6 times 3 is 18. I put the 1 here and the 8 here. Then 5 times 6 is 30. And finally 6 times 6 is 36. And now I simply add along the diagonals and write the answers along the bottom. The 6 is on its own, so I write that here. 8 plus 3 plus 0 is 11. I write 1 here and carry the other one over to the next diagonal. 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 is 10. Put the 0 here and carry the 1 across. And finally, 1 plus 1 is 2. And there's the answer, 2016. Here's another example, 41 times 82. 4 and 1 go along the top, and 8 and 2 along the right side. Draw in the 3 diagonals as before. So 4 times 8 is 32. 1 times 8 is 8, and careful here, as this is a 1-digit number, I have to write it as 0, 8. Then 4 times 2 is 8, so that's 0, 8 once more. And finally, 1 times 2 is 2, so that's 0, 2. And now I'll add along the diagonals and write the answers along the bottom. The 2 goes here. 8 plus 0 plus 8 is 16. I write the 6 here and carry the 1 over. 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 is 3. And finally, this 3 is on its own. And there's the answer, 3,362. So that's grid multiplication.